Hello, my name is Father Howard Giles at Jesus the Good Shepherd Anglican Church. We are preparing for worship. This coming Sunday will be August 24th, 2022. On Saturday, August the 23rd, we will have our Vestry meeting. The Vestry is the church council, and the word vestry is maybe not as common as it used to be, so I thought I would just talk a little bit about what a vestry is. Historically, the parish was the organizing body of ancient England, right? So you would have these parishes that operated kind of like counties, and you would have a parish council, in effect, of members of that parish that would levy taxes and do things like support the poor, provide common areas, the upkeep of a church building, and the hiring and paying of a rector or a curate, somebody who is over the local church. And this is what happened in the colonies in the New World, and what became the 13 colonies, and eventually the United States, especially in those colonies like Virginia and the Carolinas. Parishes were formed, and they were organized, and they levied some small tax, again, for provision for the poor and other common matters, and for the building of a church building and hiring of clergy and people to care for the church building. So many of the founding fathers of our country were vestrymen. That term vestry for church council came from the practical fact that there were not offices and conference rooms in these old churches. The room set aside was the one where the clergy would vest, or where the vestments were kept. So the vestry is the group that meets in the room of the vestments, where the robes and other articles for worship were kept. Today, in most Anglican churches, we call that a sacristy. And so, maybe it would be helpful if we called it a vestry and we actually met there. Might make a little bit more sense, but that's the history of those words. So the vestry is the body that organizes and runs the church practically, and had in old times met in the sacristy or the vesting area. So in today's church, in today's Anglican church, the vestry is an elected council, and they are elected in terms of 3 years, and they're usually overlapping, so you're not replacing the whole vestry every year. So somebody starts their 3-year term, the next year another person starts their 3-year term, etc. And in large churches, these can be as big as 15 people. At Jesus the Good Shepherd, because we're so small, it's 5 people, which includes myself, the rector. So we have 4 lay people and then myself. And I'm going to read for you our parish bylaws. From our parish bylaws, the powers and duties of the vestry are to aid and support the rector in all efforts for the spiritual and physical welfare and growth of the parish. So that's our first goal. To admit to membership of the vestry persons qualified under the provisions of the bylaws and canons. To authorize and create or mandate or eliminate paid staff positions, and to fund those positions, and to fill vacancies. To conduct, manage, and control the affairs and business of the parish. To borrow money or incur debt as is needed, to provide ways and means of collecting revenue and expending funds for the maintenance and operation of the parish, its growth, and its religious activities, to assist in the temporal affairs of the parish. And so temporal affairs, right? We've got bylaws, we've got state laws that we have to follow. We are incorporated as a nonprofit corporation in the state of Nevada, right? And if there is no rector, their job is to call an interim and to hire a rector. So, at some point, I'm going to leave this position at God's good time, whether that's retirement or death, one way or the other, I'll be leaving. And so it'll be the vestry's job to hire an interim rector and then to find a new full-time rector. So that would be a job. There's lots of other things that we can talk about with the vestry, but that's basically it, right? They're managing the material goods of the parish. If there's a contract that needs to be made, such as we have right now, we have a lease, and we hire musicians, and my contract, those kinds of things are administered by the vestry. Keeping track of our finances, making sure that our books are in good order, making sure that there are checks and balances in place so that there isn't misuse of our financial funds, making sure that the property that we have is taken care of, making sure that our books and our chairs and altar and all the altar guild supplies are provided. And if there's money to be raised, such as we've been raising for our church growth plan, the vestry is in charge of raising those monies. So that's basically what a vestry is. Again, every year we have an annual meeting, usually in January, and almost every year there is an election of a vestry member, since we have four and they're on this rotating cycle just about every year. Sometimes we have to do two, depending on how those terms fall. And basically what we use as qualifications are the duties of the laity. And probably I'll go into that in another video, because I think it's very important, and that's from the Anglican Church of North America's Canons and Constitution. They have 12 duties of the laity, and it's a wonderful list. And now that I'm talking about it, I think maybe that'll be our next video. But here's the things that I'm particularly looking for in a vestry member. Number one, they're regular in attendance. So this is a person that comes to church, and a person that if they're going to miss a Sunday, they let me know. Now, that's not the majority of the people that attend church typically, but if we have 70 people on a Sunday, there's a dozen, 20 people that if they're going to miss a Sunday, they know they're going to miss, they let me know. And these are typically people that have responsibilities in the church. And so if they're gone, somebody needs to fulfill that task. Now, it's not important that they let me know specifically. In fact, it's probably better that they let somebody else know that's on their team. If they're going to be a lector, they're going to let the other lectors know. If they're counting money, they're going to let the other money counters know. So it's not so much important that they let me know, but that they let somebody know so that their job is taken. So somebody that's regular in attendance, and then somebody who has a job to fulfill. And we have many people who have a job almost every Sunday, some volunteer task to be performed. So regular in attendance, some kind of volunteer ministry that they're providing, participating in, and that they're mature and responsible for their own Christian walk. These are people that are reading their Bible every day, people that are praying every day, that have their list of prayers, right? They're praying for their family, they're praying for our government, they're praying for the bishop, they're praying for our church family, people who are taking their spiritual life seriously. And then the last thing is that they tithe. So the tithe is 10% of our income. So if I get $1,000 in a paycheck, the first thing I do is I write a $100 check to the church as my gift, my tithe, my offering. Alms is any money over that. Now, I've been a Christian my whole life, and I've been tithing since I was a child. So somebody who's new to the faith, we're not expecting that person to begin tithing immediately. We're not expecting you to get baptized and then you start giving 10%. It's a growth process. So the first thing a person needs to do is figure out, what am I giving? Am I giving $1? Am I giving $10? What percentage of my income is that? And then to get serious about a budget. We have to have a budget, just like we have to have a schedule. We've got to keep a calendar if we're going to be responsible adults, right? So then I've got to figure out, am I giving 1% or 2%? And then what's my process, my plan to get to that 10% place? So a vestry member needs to be a mature Christian who is giving the 10%. That's very important because there are people who are tithing, and if we're not at the mature spiritual place to tithe, we're not at the mature spiritual place to administer the monies of the church. So if we're going to be in that mature place, if we're going to be able to talk about having faith and what it means to organize a budget and what it means to give out of that budget and to give towards God's ministry, we have to be practicing that in our own life. So I can't help the larger church do that if I'm not doing that, right? So if I'm not reading the Bible every day, I can't help you do it. If I'm not tithing, I can't help you do it. And if I'm not tithing, I can't help the church do it and administer the church's finances. So that's why we need to have tithing members of the vestry. So our vestry meetings are open. They're typically once a month. We take off July and December. Some other notable months are October, when we start our budgeting process for the next year. So this coming October, we'll be coming up with a rough draft of the budget for 2023. Sometimes we approve that in October. Sometimes we need to look at another draft and approve it in November. There's just a lot of really fun and interesting things that happen. And the really wonderful thing about our new church growth plan and what we've been doing and the other meetings that we've been having, like the wordsmithing meeting and the physical space meeting, is that there's opportunities outside of the vestry for ministry and for taking ownership in the church and for making plans. So the vestry isn't the only place that happens, but it is an important place. And they are open meetings. And so everybody is welcome to attend. You encourage us when you attend. You don't have to stay for the whole meeting. It's this Saturday at 9:30. We typically go till 11:30. I like to keep it under 2 hours. And so you can stay for 15 minutes and then take off. Come when you can, leave when you have to is our byword. I think that you'll be encouraged. I think that you'll learn a lot about the church, and all of our records, financial treasurer's reports, minutes, agendas are public record, and so those are kept in a binder in the library. They're in the parish hall, so people are welcome to take a look at those and walk through them. And I'd be interested in talking with anybody that would like to talk about the vestry of the church and the way that it's organized and administered. So thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to our channel. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a like. Share it with a friend, family member, somebody that you think might be interested in how we do church. And we look forward to seeing you either this Saturday or Sunday morning at worship. God bless.